Whenever I write in my diary, I think of a girl my age reading it and telling her mother about it. Or, little did I know, maybe there is a girl that was 11 that is watching this and she's telling her mom about it. Or, it's the grown-up me reading it and telling YouTube about it. Well, it's getting late.
Words bring pictures to my mind. I see the marks of the passage of time.
Hello and welcome to Journaling Through the Years, episode 42, I believe. We are now at the meaning of life, the universe, and everything, so we'll come to some realization about this. If you don't know what that is that I'm referring to, what have you been doing all your life? Go read some Douglas Adams, Hitchhikers of the Galaxy, and then you'll know. I am Leah, and I'm doing well. I only have a very short time to record this because I have to leave at 12 o'clock to go to work out like 45 minutes away. I'm modeling today for the local junior college, so that's great. Let's see what else is going on. So this is a series on my channel where I read an excerpt from my journal throughout my life. I've been writing in a journal since I was old enough to hold a pen or a pencil. And so I'm going back, and I've never read any of them before. And so I'm going back and reading them and then looking at how it has shaped my life and who I was then and how it affects me now, all the decisions and things I was thinking about. And sometimes they're funny, and then sometimes, you know, they're not. And sometimes they're both. This is a really weird thing. It's been snowing today. Yes, it's April 11th, and it's snowing. I'm just gonna take it off. So, I tried something new. I added a little, like, red to there, so we'll see how that works out. I thought this was funny that I'm wearing, this is the name of the university, and I'm going to go work for RCC, and I thought I'd just, like, walk in and be like, hey. Anyways, my mic had some issues. The cord broke. Fortunately, I was able to find a new cord, and it works all right, and it was a big stressful thing. So I don't have a lot of time. But I did want to touch on something before I read, that this weekend, so part of my recovery in looking back all through my life is remembering every aspect of my life. And I have done some really effed up things. I have acted out. I have said some horrible things to people. I have yelled at people. I have been insanely, like, almost psychotic with the things that I have said. And I'm not that person anymore. So that just goes to show you, as we were talking about last week with Will Smith and the slap, people are nuanced. People are bad and good. There's not necessarily everyone is a sociopath. Generally speaking, we're nuanced. We can be crazy and psychotic and scream and get angry and be overly stressed. And then at the same time, we can also be very, very sweet. It's realizing that just because there's bad doesn't mean there is, you know, bad people do good things and good people do bad things. And it's not so black and white. It's not so, you know, so defined. It's shades of gray. It's nuance. And that's how I am. But I go back from time to time as I feel led to reach out to somebody that I've wronged in my past, and I apologize to them. And this last week, over the last couple weeks, I've been reaching out to a bunch of people, and I didn't expect really a response. I didn't need a response back, but I did get a response back from a woman that I was, when I was a Christian, I was in a youth group. I was a youth group counselor, and I ministered to this woman when she was in high school. And even back then, this goes to show my abilities as an empath. I remember waking up one morning in a daze, like half awake, half asleep. You know how that is when you're first waking up. And that day I was going to head out with this woman and a bunch of her friends when they were in high school to a summer camp for a week. And I woke up and I just had this like kind of vision that this person was struggling with her sexuality, as you know, the Christian church, the fundamentalist evangelical church, does not believe that, you know, they think homosexuality is a sin or anything of that variation that isn't man and woman, you know, Adam and Eve and all that fun stuff. So I had that realization. And then many years later, maybe about 10 years later, I was married and my husband was becoming abusive, and she was my friend on Facebook, and I made a comment, haha, you're secretly gay, in front of, like, live. And I was very angry because I was in such a toxic situation, and I'd come out of a living situation when I was living at home in my 20s that was also very similar to that. And I hadn't yet processed it. I processed my own anger and my own childhood trauma and all of that. And I hadn't even really processed the issues with the church at this time. I was very angry. And I did apologize to her at that time. But then I posted something. I made another response that was just like this long paragraph of just manipulative. Like, it was just not me. So I'd forgotten about that second post. But I remember that the first one that I had posted to her, outing her before she was comfortable admitting that. And so I reached out to her and apologized, got a response back, and notably she at first was very upset, but then and that's what she wrote back and said, you know, I wish you well in your life. And I felt led to share my journey, and why I had been the way I was from, you know, childhood, and then being married to a domestic violence abuser, and then coming out of the church and all the trauma and all the anger that brought on and kind of birthed in me that I've worked through and that I'm not. So it was just a weekend of reflecting on that, being kind of amazed that when I was like 24, 25, 26, and I woke up that morning and had that realization that this person is struggling with their sexuality, and all these years later to realize that wasn't wrong, and that now they're living their truth, thankfully, away from the church and pursuing love the way that they were meant to love, and dealing with the trauma and the pushback of all of that. And I'm very proud for that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it was just a weekend to reflect on that. The idea just goes to show that I do have some kind of empath abilities. I believe that I'm able to know things that no one would want me to know, if that makes sense. So, and I just, I wish her well. I really do. I hope that she continues to find healing from the core that is the fundamentalist evangelical worldview and all the damage that it did. I just hope that she finds that healing, as I did and as I continue to do so. I'm going to read a little bit of this, and then I am going to sign off for the day. Okay. We start again. I am introducing myself yet again. Maybe because I didn't write. Last post was, March 3rd. I didn't write anything. I wrote that last week, the idea of most important things in 5th grade. Now here we go. March 8th, 1990. Dear Diary, hello, my name is, and I said my name was Julia Catherine Anderson at the time, and I'm 11 years old. I was held back a year in preschool, so I was a year older than all of my classmates. Not because I didn't know what colors were or anything like that, but because I guess I was really shy and really small, and they thought that I wasn't ready for kindergarten. My birthday is April 29th. I have light brown hair, hazel eyes, I did, like my dad's, glasses, and braces. I did, and I had to wear headgear. Not at school, but, like, yeah. And I had, from the time I was 4th grade until, like, 8th grade, I had braces. And then I had these big, big glasses. My hobbies are to play on a computer, read a book, and play the piano. I did play the piano. I was not good at practicing. I have had 5 years of piano. I used to take tap. I guess I wasn't taking tap at that time. That's sad. I guess I'd already given up on it. How sad. I love tap. I wish I hadn't given up on it. I don't like to practice piano. I didn't. And a couple years later, my piano teacher would be like, I don't want to teach you anymore because you're not practicing. It's wasting money. My mom usually has to yell at me. I have 3 cats and 2 dogs. Their names are Francis, Ollie, Jamocha, Escher, and Puying. Jamocha is my black cat. And I love these animals, saying their names. They're my childhood pets, you know. When I grew up, so Puying was a Thai cat, and Thai means girl, and so she was a Siamese cat, part Siamese. And Puying means girl in Thai. And my parents, when they were first married, lived for 2 years in Thailand, and that's where my oldest brother was born. Ollie, his name was Ollie. Oliver was his name. Oliver South, I guess at the time, I can't remember exactly, but Oliver North was in the news, and the idea was he had shredded a bunch of papers, and Ollie was 180 degrees. This is what everybody said. I don't really know other than that why we got the name Ollie, but he was my dog. Francis was his mother, and Escher was a cat that my brother from college, my oldest brother, he broke up with his girlfriend. She took one cat, he took the other. They had Picasso and Escher, and he brought Escher home and just kind of left her with us for a while. When I grow up, I think I'll be a writer or an actress. Sometimes I'm watching TV and the show might be one I've never seen before, but I might want to see the next and the next. Like Night Court. My best friends are AD, my really close friend, BG, CH, and CT. My school is called Geyserville Elementary. It's a very plain name. It is. And I think I'll go and see it tomorrow, knowing it's Fry, as in Friday, but I wrote FRI. A good play is The Diary of Anne Frank. The best character is Anne and Peter. Just like in Night Court, the 2 best characters are Dan and Christine. And then in parentheses I put maybe Harry and Mac and Bull. Excuse me. I mean, Christine's awesome. Maybe Harry? I would actually tell my younger 11-year-old self, Harry and Dan are the best characters, and yet they're really... I've been watching Night Court on Prime IMDb TV, and all of it's so well written, and I could just go into it. There's so many layers. I mean, it's such a well-written, it was so well-written, and it's so funny, and yet also there was such a heart to the characters, and they all cared for each other. Yes, even Dan Fielding, and, like, he had so many layers. He was skeezy and self-promoting, and yet at the same time, he had such a loyalty and a love for those those he worked with, and yet there was also this dichotomy that everyone else besides them was kind of stereotypical and kind of cliche, and then that inner group was, and maybe some of the characters that were supporting or that they brought in for certain storylines had a little bit more realism to them. But I think that was just heightened the overall character arcs and character development and character, like, just it gave them more dimension. So it's really hard for me to say who is the best character overall, but I mean, I know specifically that this is weird to me that I'm putting maybe Harry, knowing what I thought of Harry, and I still do, as this sort of like ideal father figure. I don't know if he was. He could have been the worst person ever. When I found out, like, I meet his real kids and they're like, no, he was awful. I've been in therapy for years. I doubt it. But but no, I hope not. I sincerely doubt that. But but I find that interesting that I put Dan and Christine. Like, why did I do that? Was I embarrassed? Was I trying to hide it? Was I trying to lie to myself in order to kind of appease, my real father or my birth father or what have you? I just find that really, really profound that I didn't put Harry in the best characters, because I would say that Harry is the best character, and then Dan, because John Larroquette was the reason I became an actor. The movie critics, I bet they aren't really the movie critics, but what do I know? I think what I said about that is that maybe other people were watching the movies and then telling them about it and writing up a thing about it. I don't think that was necessarily true, because I think that Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel were pretty legit. I don't know, can't remember others, and I think there are people that for some reason that is their job, to critique movies. They just really like movies. But Siskel and Ebert, definitely 2 thumbs up for them. If you know what I'm talking about, you're cool. Before there was Facebook with the thumb up and the thumb down, it would have never been a collective thing that we do, Facebook, Twitter, all the thumb up, thumb down, if it weren't for Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. And I just realized that. And that is really cool. My mom says I watch too much TV, but lately I have been cutting back. Whenever I write in my diary, I think of a girl my age reading it and telling her mother about it. Or, little did I know, maybe there is a girl that was 11 that is watching this and she's telling her mom about it. Or, it's the grown-up me reading it and telling YouTube about it. Well, it's getting late. Yours truly, P.S. See ya. So, I think that in closing, what I want to end on is, what stands out to me in this is really the, I like the idea that I'm saying, when I grow up, I think I'll be a writer or an actress. And, in American culture, that is something that everybody wants to be the great American novelist, but it's so much struggle. The American culture has always been defined any sort of person that is seeking to be an artist of any variety as the starving artist. And so, as a kid, you can say, I want to be this, I want to be that. But if it's anything in a writer or actor, it's like, yeah, but when you go to college or when you go out in the world, what's going to be your actual job? And so I think that nowadays I'm finding a way to pursue both of those. And for the most part, the acting of recently, I've been able to find a way to make a good income with my acting, with the OHSU model actor gigs, simulated patient gig. And then there's the modeling in all its variety, and then the writing, not so much, but I have been able to, write various, I write 2 different web series, one fan fiction, Doctor Who fan fiction, and one original I wrote. And I've written other stuff, and maybe they haven't gotten paid, but they have been put out there into the world. So, but it took a while for me to do that. And going back to the issue with the woman where I yelled at her, my past of talking about childhood trauma and trauma in general and abuse, how that affected my anger. Another level is that because of the abuse, because of trying to please other people and not really get that approval, I was doing things that weren't true to me. I was pursuing teaching. I was kind of trying to fit in with the social mode and the social norm, and falling empty because it wasn't right for me. And I look at that right there, and that is what my little girl self wanted to be, and I am being it, and I am finding a way to make a living at it. Even if it's not like I'm famous on TV or something, I'm making a way in creating and making that work for me. And it is also a testament of the things that we have today, the fact that we have YouTube and TikTok and all of that, and just social media in general, the ease of creating content and based on the technology of cameras and audio and lights, and it's just, and smartphones. It's just so amazing that one is able to put out so much. It's just really cool. the ease of creating content and putting yourself out in the world, and, you know, sending out auditions and just promoting yourself in that way. And the next part that really stands out to me is that I did say the best characters are Dan and Christine, and I feel somehow that was my way to cover up, to going back to not being true to yourself and real with yourself out of fear of displeasing someone else. Not putting Harry up in that level of import, because he was and he is my favorite, and the ideal, what I hoped was a real father, kind of healthy figure. And yet, no shade against Dan and Christine or Mac and Bull. Where's Roz? Or Selma or Flo? Where are they? Like, they're not even in this list. Sorry. Or any of the other characters that kind of came in. People are watching this that don't know Night Court, and they're just like, But I'm getting off course. I think that the point is that the idea is that I was, even at this age of 11, learning to devalue or not listen to myself, to what I wanted to do, to what was really profoundly affecting me, and not admitting this and saying, nope, Dan and Christine, maybe Harry, like devaluing that, like just putting that down there and not listening to it because maybe it wasn't safe to admit to that. So that's all. I am going to go with that today. I need to get to work. I hope you have a good week, and we will talk again soon. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment down below, all that fun stuff if you have anything that you add to the conversation. Thank you. Bye.
Flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory, and dusty words bring pictures to my mind. I see the marks of the passage of time, patches of living stitched with a common thread. My life's like a quilt that's been sewn together. I can't get away from love. If I went to the edge of the earth, you'd follow me. I can't get away from love. If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. I can't get away from love. Baby, I was going barefoot in the summertime. Maybe I was falling asleep to the sound of rain. Maybe I was listening to the quiet of early evening. Maybe I was sipping coffee with a couple of friends. Maybe I was eating ribs at the rendezvous in Memphis. Maybe I was on my knees ears whispering promises. I can't get away from love. If I went to the edge of the earth, you'd follow me. I can't get away from love. If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. I can't get away from love. When all the Kodak moments have faded and are all but lost in my head, moving past my stubborn spirit, I will remember you who carefully guide me here, guide me here. I have traveled a long and wearisome road, but it's been paved, no doubt, with mercy. And like the cracks in the walls and the cobwebs near the ceiling, I've collected companions through the years. And like an old coffee stain, these things stay with me. Your presence hangs over me like a canopy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't get away from love. If I went to the edge of the earth, you'd follow me. I can't get away from love. If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. I can't get away from love. I can't get away from love.